Hey there, this is Amit. Welcome to my class Python for Beginners, and this is lecture number 2, and it's called Languages and Programs. So today I'll be telling you a little about a computer program, a programming language, and teach you how to write your first few computer programs. And guys, do share your feedback on the videos via email or on the course page. Okay, so guys, last time I didn't exactly tell you where the launcher for the Python interpreter, or idle as we call it, is located. So let's just find out where it is. So I installed this Python in my C drive, Python 2.7, and I'll just a moment. Okay, I'll do a search for idle here. And last time we figured out that the installer is this one. So let's just find out where it is. Open file location, and okay. So guys, this is the path. Just remember it. And what I did is I just took this launcher and pinned it in the taskbar. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Okay guys, so what is a computer program? So a computer program is a sequence of instructions that specifies how to perform a computation. More like, think of computer program as a list of steps you want to take to perform some action. So let's say you want to make a cup of noodles. So you buy the noodles, you boil some water in the heating pan, put the noodles in it, you put the masala in it, and then it's done. It's a sequence of instructions. So think of that as a computer program. So the computation we talk about, or the activity or the thing you want to achieve, can be something mathematical, like solving a system of equations or finding out the roots of a polynomial. But it can not only be mathematical, it can also be a symbolic computation, like searching and replacing text in a document. So yeah, the control F or the control G or the control H in your Word software like Microsoft Word, that's also a computer program that achieves the desired task. So the details might look different in different languages of how you want to achieve those, how you want to perform those instructions to achieve something. The syntax, as we call it, might be different for different languages, but a few basic instructions appear in just about every language. So what are those? Well, the first source is input. So input may be something you want to read from the keyboard or a file or some hard drive or a drive on your computers, on your personal computer. Second is output. Well, output is used to display some data on your screen, or maybe send some data on a file or a hard drive, and it's basically the opposite of output. Input. The third could be math. Math could be performing basic mathematical operations like addition or multiplication. Do you remember the last time we wrote this A times B program? Well, I'll just do it again for you, right? Maybe you don't remember. So okay, so it was something like we wrote a def multiply A B, and we return A into B. Not return exactly, we used a print last time. Okay, so this was the program, right? Okay, then there could be conditional execution, and so this is point number 4, and the point number 4 and 5 are actually important. So the fourth point is conditional execution. So you want to check for certain conditions and execute the appropriate the sequence of statements based on certain conditions. Like, translating in English could be, if you have a banana, then go eat it. Or else, if you don't have a banana, then buy a banana and eat it. So this is called conditional execution, where you perform certain things based on certain conditions. The fifth point is repetition. So repetition is to perform some action repeatedly, usually with some variation. So, as I don't know if you remember it or not, but in my class when I was a kid, sometimes I just goofed up somewhere and my teacher used to get mad at me, and she asked me to write on a piece of paper 100 times that I won't do this thing again, I won't do this thing again. It was cumbersome. So if you want to do it using a computer program, you don't have to write 100 lines. Printing, I don't want to do it again and I won't do it again 100 times. You can write something like this, for I in range, you say print I won't do this time again, and okay, see, this is exactly 100 times. I will do this time again, I will do this time again. Okay, that's 2 lines. You cut down the work of 100 lines in just 2 lines. That's the power of a computer program, and that's called repetition. So believe it or not, my friends, that's pretty much all there is to it. Every program you have ever used, no matter how complicated, is made up of instructions that look more or less like these. Thus, we can describe programming as a process of breaking a large, complex task into smaller and smaller subtasks until the subtasks are simple enough to be performed with one of these basic instructions. So you have a complex program, then you figure out how to break it into simple tasks, and simple tasks involve the things I've already talked about, like input, output, math, repetition, conditions, and you accomplish the big task by completing these subtasks. So now guys, let's do our first program, a program that will print hello world. So the first thing to do is launch a Python shell, the idle shell I was talking about. Okay. Well, this is the Python prompt, so you can do stuff like print hi here and print hi, or print I plus 3, I plus 2, print 7. The better way to do this is to build a Python script. So go to File and New Window. Okay, so write a program here. Guys, follow me here. I'll tell you what it does and how it does later. So just write up print hello world. Done. And I do a save as. Okay, so guys, I prefer this defaults to C Python 2.7, or else you can choose any folder, but I chose to do this folder because it has all the libraries and all. So it's better if you choose this folder. And now go to create a new folder here, and I'd like to call this folder practice. Okay, now this is the first program, so I'll just name it 1.py. py stands for Python file, and you save here, and it's done. And now you can either hit F5 or run module, and voila, it says hello world. So that's very neat and very simple. That's the first program. Now, what is exactly happening here is the print statement we talked about is a form of an output. One of the five points I talked about earlier. Print says print the following on the screen as output. So hello world happens to be the argument to the print statement. You call the print statement saying that, hey print, hello world is what you are going to print for me, and when you run F5 it does it for you. Yeah, that's simple, guys. So let me talk a little bit about Python. Python is an example of a high-level language, and the other high-level languages you might have heard of are C++, PHP, and Java. So as you might infer from the name high-level language, there are also low-level languages, sometimes referred to as machine languages or assembly languages. Loosely speaking, computers can only execute programs written in low-level languages. So your computer does not directly understand the program we wrote here, hello world. It has to be broken down into a low-level language that the computer can understand. So thus, programs written in high-level language have to be processed before they can run. Exactly what I was talking about. This extra processing takes some time, which is a small disadvantage of high-level languages. So in general, you find that machine languages like the assembly language, those are faster, followed by languages like C, which are closer to the assembly language or the low-level languages. C itself is a high-level language. And then you have examples like Java and Python, which are again high-level languages, which need to be broken down further into low-level languages that the computer can understand. So since Java is closer to a high-level language, in fact it is a high-level language, and C is closer to a low-level language, so Java is generally slower than C, and Python is still slower than C, because Python is also a high-level language. But then, okay, I've talked a lot of disadvantages about low-level language, high-level language like Python, slow and stuff like that. Computer doesn't understand it. But then the advantages are enormous. Low-level languages like machine languages are hard to write programs in. Yep, you really scratch your head to get something running in the machine language. And it's much easier to write the program in a language like Python. This is the program we wrote, print hello world, is something that you understand intuitively. It's almost like English, right? You print hello world. Yep. Programs written in high-level language take less time to write. You know how quickly we wrote this print hello world program. Just took 2 seconds, 5 seconds, based on our typing speed. They're shorter and easier to read, and they're more likely to be correct. Yeah, they're more likely to be correct. Yes, of course, in case you might actually miss out the quotation marks towards the end or the beginning, and then it'll throw you some errors and stuff like that. But whenever you're printing a string, you have to provide an argument for the argument between quotes. Say if you want to print hi, you say hi, then close it with quotation marks, and it says hi. The chances of errors happening is actually very low. Also, the high-level languages are portable, meaning they can run on different kinds of computers with few or no modifications. So something like a machine language is something which a particular computer understands. So a computer, what I mean by computer is a sort of architecture of the computer. So what something an Intel computer might understand may be different from what, let's say, an AMD might understand. So you can't put program written for an Intel processor and run it on an AMD. Now, low-level programs can run on only one kind of computer and have to be rewritten to run on another. Yep. So, two kinds of programs process high-level languages into low-level languages. So the kind of processing we're talking about to convert a program from a high-level language into something that a computer can understand. Those things, like the idle interpreter which you're using, this guy is called an interpreter, and it reads a high-level program and executes it, meaning that it does what the program says. It processes the program a little at a time, alternately reading lines and performing computations. So something like you say print 5 plus 2, then you say print 3 plus 4, and when you run F5, you first print 5 plus 2, then 3 plus 4, line by line, sequential execution of the program. The other thing is a compiler, but we don't talk much about compilers. So this is a little beyond the scope of this course. Okay, and I've talked about input-output. So I'll show you, I give you an example of an output. I'll also give you an example of an input, how you can take input from the user and do something with it. So guys, let's write something in our interpreter. Okay, you don't worry about how this program works. We'll talk about it in the later lectures, but just to get a little feel of how things work, let's write this program. So S is equal to and within quotation marks I'm going to write hey, what's your name, and little backslash n towards the end. Okay, once you have the name, print hi S plus welcome to the class Python for beginners. And hit F5. Hey, what's your name? Is a computer asking you, so you gotta enter your name. So I'll just write Amit. It's my first name, and press enter. And the computer says, "Hi Amit, welcome to the class Python for beginners." That's still amusing, isn't it? Isn't it nice to see your name printed by the computer? Of course, the computer doesn't know your name, but if you tell it once, it'll of course remember it. Or rather, I should say that you can make it remember your name. But we'll talk about it in another class, about how you can make the computer remember your name. So guys, that's about it for this second class. Yes, you learned quite a bit about languages and programs today. From the next video onwards, we will be getting our hands dirty with the Python syntax so that you can write more meaningful programs than just the ones which print a hello world. Yeah. So guys, see you around next time. Have a nice day.